Welcome back to another episode of the Bourbon Lens. This is Jake along with Scott, and today we have the luckiest number, unless you're on your second roll, 7. So Lucky 7 Spirits is joining us today. So Michael and JP, thanks for joining the Bourbon Lens tonight.
Happy to be here.
Yeah,
thank you.
Yeah, I would say I've seen a lot. Whiskey Consensus has done a few barrels of your alls. He talked really highly about your all's 14-year that he did a single barrel pick with you all. And, I've seen you all around. But also you all had a very great booth at Kentucky Bourbon Festival in 2022 that had popcorn going all day, every day, which was much needed. So thank you all for supplying some food for us.
People made that the breakfast, lunch, and dinner stop. Definitely underestimated the need for popcorn at the event. So it was a very popular booth for that reason.
Yeah.
There was a guy, I think it was around 4 hours, just standing there.
Oh, that guy.
Handing his little popcorn box over every time he finished it, just stayed right at the table.
He wouldn't even look at the popcorn person. He was just like take his box and just stare for it and just put his arm in there and just ask for more.
We're glad we did it. It was a big hit and people enjoyed it though.
Lesson learned. We'll do a bigger popcorn booth next year.
And that guy got his money's worth for the Bourbon Festival.
Yeah. A big Kentucky thing, if you get a nice caramel bourbon is to do some kettle corn, and you could really do it big. Nice. But I will say that is a lot more messy to deal with and a lot harder to cook than the popcorn machine that you all had. So I just appreciate it because once I got near your booth, I was able to enjoy a thing of popcorn, not 4 hours worth.
All right. That was the idea. Yeah.
That was the idea. You're eating popcorn, enjoying bourbon.
Well,
good parent.
I would say your booth was super interactive. Like that was one of the things I liked about it. It wasn't just people just going and getting a pour and leaving. Like your all's engagement team was doing a good job keeping people engaged, answering questions, doing multiple pours. And so kudos to your team because that booth was engaged the entire time. I never saw Lucky 7 just be empty. It was just kind of booming. So good for you all.
It was from open to close. We had lines. We brought everything. We brought the single barrel 14-year. We brought all the expressions just because we wanted everyone to try everything we had, and so people were trying 136 proof single barrel down to the 12-year. Oh no, I'm sorry, the 14-year small batch hold up, which was 100 proof, so they got to try everything.
Now we know people pay good money for the fest too. So we wanted to bring, like Mike said, our 14-year-old single barrel is the hardest one to find. I know that. So we wanted to have plenty of it there so everyone could get their money's worth. To me, that's the idea of Kentucky Bourbon Fest, to go there for things that maybe you can't find everywhere,
Yeah.
No, 100%. I couldn't agree more. And kudos to you all. And, the whiskeys that you all had were really good. It was warmer when I was trying them. So I was like, oh, hey, this is not a weak bourbon. Like, you go around, some people's got some 80s, they got some 90s, and then you run into that. Like, and I think I had the 14. I was like, oh, welcome to the club.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. It was. It'll definitely wake you up if you're getting tired. That's for sure.
Yeah. So there's a lot to say about your all's bottle, right? It's got some bling to it. It's shiny, like your all's logo shiny. Like it makes me like, I'm looking at your all's website here just to, for frame of reference as we talk, like it's got the dice, it's got that ambiance of like Vegas, right? Like that's what I feel with this, like a big show type of thing. When you all think about the just brand, right? I'm going kind of really big picture here. When you think about the brand and attracting people in a very crowded category, and you all have a whole section to your bottle on the website, like why the bottle being so over the top, being big and bold? Like, was that kind of something you had from the outset, or was that something after you all kind of had the creative, piece to it?
No, John and I wanted a premium looking bottle from the get-go. We actually intended on designing our own bottle. We hired a company that we were working with, and we spent almost a year with this company going over various designs of our own, all to come to the conclusion that we have no idea what we're doing in designing a bottle, and we should leave that to the professionals. So we ended up finding a beautiful stock bottle It's basically a decanter bottle, they call it, with a company called Savor Glass that we were really happy with. And then when we discovered the bottle, we were at a spirits convention. And so at the convention, there's, people who make labels, people who do anything you can possibly imagine. They'll design your logos. They'll, put, exactly what you're seeing on our bottle, they'll do. So we walked around with the bottle at the convention and we started mocking up things, seeing if this was the right fit, feel. And, John and I both decided that was the bottle. So we scrapped the whole design our own bottle thing. We were happy that we actually found a bottle that we were really pleased with. And then, our input was all of that is John and I's input on the bottle. We wanted a fancy bottle for two reasons. John and I are both kind of, snobby when it comes to bottles. We like nicer things, but also we realized that we are no one in this industry. And if we are going to jump out on the shelf when you walk down that sea of brown in a liquor store, our bottle had to be a little bit different than the standard whiskey bottle. So for those two reasons, we went down that route to get a nice fancy bottle. That being said, though, I'll say, we were both really cautious and concerned about the pretty bottle effect. And what I mean by that is when people see a nice looking bottle, they're kind of concerned that the juice isn't that good because, there's a fancy bottle. What do they need to promote a fancy bottle for if the juice is good, So we knew with the team we had, we'd eventually start to win some people over. But all of that to say, that's how we came up with the bottle design that you're looking at right now.
Yeah, and it's big and bold, and one of the things that kind of stick out is this admit one, lift here type of methodology and limited showing. So if you go out to your all's website, there's like short films that go along with the bottles too. So, which this is really interesting because we just talked to Filmland Spirits not too long ago, and they're doing similar, but they're like B-roll. They're not really like yours is like an A-list like type of methodology. They were kind of like making a spoof on, B type movies. So like what came to your mind around like the idea of movies and making this more of an experience, not just a, buy the bottle and taste the whiskey?
So I'll talk about the actual movie day that we did. So we shot 3 movies in 2 days with real actors at a bar in Culver City, based in LA. And we did everything by the book. We rented the bar during
permits,
and we've got the fire marshal there and everything. And these were, I wouldn't call them struggling actors, but they're real actors that were looking for work. And our director lined them up, and it was a great day. Even me and Mike were in the background of one of them playing Jenga incorrectly, I'll say. We were pulling the pegs out, but we weren't restacking them on top. We were just setting them to the side. So we got made fun of after the take.
Yeah.
But
I don't think anyone caught that.
Which was what we did, is we had a movie for the Jokester. That was our 6-year-old small batch, 95 proof. The Hold Up, which is our, at the time, 12-year-old small batch. And then the proprietor single barrel. We wanted movies for all 3 of them, which we ended up doing. And then in the original labels, you could peel them back, and there's a QR code. And you scan it, and it takes you directly to the movie. Let's go down the road a little bit. And there started to become some problems, mainly with single barrel proofs and things like that, where let's say a change needed to be made for whatever happened. It was just not functional anymore. We had to, there was lead times with these, and we love these labels. They're awesome. But so we did change from, there's no peel back. But what I said to Mike, and Mike agrees, every brand, they have their life of their company, right? So people who got their hands on those first bottles, those first runs, they're going to say, hey, we have the ones that used to peel back, where the new ones don't peel back. So that's kind of the story of shooting the movies. And then we also, this could kind of roll into the inspiration for the name, which I usually let Mike take that from, if you want to go into that right now.
Yeah, like let's talk about it.
Yeah, we should have probably told you the inspo for the name. That would make sense why we're shooting short films. When we were developing the brand, we didn't have a name for it for a while, over a year. We had a lot of names jotted down, and none of them really resonated well with JP and I. I mean, they were good names. They were just not, nothing special that we would be proud of. And then, so that went on for a bit. And then one night I was at home watching TV, and I was flipping through the channels, and I came across the film Casablanca. And I loved that film, and I ended up watching the whole thing from beginning to end. And, at the end I was still, mesmerized. And so I started Googling fun facts about the movie, and I came across this NPR article about the stage, the sound stage it was filmed in, and how that soundstage is 75 years old, and they were doing a big, celebration. And it turns out that soundstage is a lucky stage. So they started calling the stage Lucky 7. And they started calling it Lucky Stage 7, and then it just over the years turned into Lucky 7. And so I love that name. I wrote it down. I called JP the next morning. I said, listen to this story, and he stopped me mid-sentence. He goes, yeah, that's got to be our name. We got to be Lucky 7. And so we both agreed that was the name. And so just to keep with the kind of the history of where the name came from, we wanted to do like short films, to kind of be a part of the name and the history of the name and the soundstage and everything. So really what ended up happening was we hired a director, and we had those 3 or 4 movies written for us. And those movies actually named the expressions. So we didn't have the name of the expression first. We had the movie first, and then we named the expressions after the movies. So the jokester was, about the jokester in the film. I don't know if you've seen any of the films, but the hold up, there's a hold up scene in that film. The proprietor is a scene about the owner of a bar who was cleaning up his bar, and it's, he has a picture of his lost love who had passed away, and he's toasting to her. It's like kind of a sad, sweet black and white film. And then the Holiday Toast is a Charlie Chaplin film that we acquired some of the old footage license free, and had fun with it. We had it all chopped up and kind of made for the Holiday Toast release. So, just kind of keeping with Hollywood and, having fun with everything.
And one more thing, we were excited about the name, but we didn't think we'd ever be able to land the trademark. So, and that was important to me and Mike, no matter what we did, to trademark the name of in the end, even the trademark attorney is like, okay, yeah, not happening, guys. But
he shot us down pretty quick.
In the end, it worked out. So we were really pumped after that point, knowing this was the name, and we went over hundreds of names, and it's and we respect the old distillery so much, and like our bottle too. We weren't like a Weller bottle, that couldn't be us, which is perfect for them. You know what I mean? And you just go down the line. We're bourbon nerds too, so we needed to, like Mike said, stand out on that shelf. And also we couldn't be, whatever. We didn't want to pick like another, dead president or, a famous region of Kentucky or anything like that. We wanted to kind of have our own theme to our brand, and we're really happy with how it turned out.
I'm glad that we finally have the opportunity to try this, because it's one of those bottles that, like, I've seen. It's highly recognizable, even though, like you said, it's not a heritage brand. You guys are a newer brand, but you see this bottle and you're like, oh, that's Lucky 7. It stands up. It's got a big, what I'd like to think is got like a big chest. It's got his chest pumped up and
nice posture.
Yeah.
And the chunky cork in the top there, we did nerd out on the bottle bit. We wanted it to really have a nice pop when you pulled it out. And I haven't been denied yet on a good, nice pop. Now, there was one that I had a little older. I had to tip it over to make sure there's a little moisture there, but it has a really nice, it feels good when you grab it, and it has a nice pop when you pull it out. And even stuff like that is important to us.
I feel like this conversation could be taken many ways if that's the only part of the episode you listen to.
Well, we did everything, even down to we, like John said, we did geek out. I mean, if you look at the cork, even on the cork shank, there's the harlequin braiding that matches the back of the bottle. So, just to give you an idea of how much thought we put into it, because this is our storefront, this is all we have to show is this. So, we put everything we got into it, and we're really proud of it. And what are you guys sipping on right now? Are you on the Holiday Toast or on the Frenchman, or what are you guys on?
I have the Frenchman in my right hand. I have the Holiday Toast in my left hand.
Oh, nice. So I guess we should talk about what you're sipping on. Both of those expressions are barrel finished. So the Holiday Toast was intended to be just a limited holiday release. I think it was 2.5 years ago or 3 years ago. I don't remember even, but
pre-COVID,
we ordered some barrels from Kelvin Cooperage. We asked them to be heavily toasted and charred for us. And then we took some, I think it was 5.5 year old juice, and finished them, put them in there and let them finish over, I think it was a summer. And then around September, we had samples pulled out of the barrels, and we sent them over to Ashley Barnes, she's our master blender, and she does all.
Jake, Ashley, don't you?
Yeah. We know Ashley.
Yeah.
And she partners on a couple different brands that we work with.
Ashley's amazing. Real quick thing on her is, we go to her house for our tasting. She built out a beautiful office and a little tasting room there, and that's how she wants it, and that's how, and we love it too. We'll pick up food from the dairy barn and be drinking 136 proof at noon. Tasting.
Yeah, that's their favorite.
So it's always interesting.
That's awesome.
Yeah, but she'll before those go into a secondary barrel, though, the samples that she pulls, she'll blend them before they go into a barrel for finishing, and then once they get dumped, those batches get blended again and then bottled. So there's a lot of attention that goes on with those barrel finishes that we do. This one we decided to proof at 115 because we just thought that was the perfect amount of spice, perfect amount of heat. And when we released it, she was ecstatic. She called me. She was so excited about how good it tastes. Her grandma drank the whole bottle, so we knew we had a winner. And so we released it, and it just went kind of crazy. And people, we haven't stopped selling it all year round. We sell it now. It's one of our staple products.
The first batch, I think we probably lost our way a little bit, but that first batch, we were so excited about getting it out like around Thanksgiving for a bunch of reasons. I think it hit Benny's, which is the biggest retailer in Illinois, one of the biggest retailers in the country. I think it hit like the week between Christmas and New Year's, like right at the end. But then it kept selling. I mean, it sold like crazy, even then the next batch in the summer months. So it's the Holiday Toast. And our intention was for the winter holiday season, but people drink it all year round and buy it all year round. Yeah. It's been a big hit for us, and we love it. I mean, me and Mike started this business because of the type of bourbon we like. We like higher proof. We like neat pours or a big cube. And we also, I think, kind of knew that 85, 90 proof, there was a lot more competition out there for that, and this was our preference anyway. And we're, along with our team, also Monica Wolf is a huge part of our team, and Ashley Barnes, we're excited about the future and the past and everything.
Yeah. Does double oaked bourbon really ever go out of style though? Like, even though it may be meant for the holidays.
Yeah.
It's one of my favorite ways to express a barrel. Scott and I talk, and we've done multiple episodes on just double oaked bourbons, Woodford, Fearless, Starlight, you name it. Everyone's had one, but like we always say the best way to give a gift is go buy a Woodford Double Oak bourbon, right? Just it sits on the shelves. It's $55 and, Bob's your uncle because it's sweet, it's flavorful, and it packs a lot of punch. And I think this one gives a lot of those same notes, sweetness and deep, dark flavors. So I always let Scott go first on tasting profile. So Scott, take it away on what you're sniffing and getting over there.
Yeah, I mean, it's almost like to know that it's called Holiday Toast. I think it's very appropriate because it smells like baked, like a holiday, like what you would have at like Christmas or Thanksgiving. It's like baked apple pie, dough, bread, cinnamon. Yeah, I mean,
you're not alone with those notes. That's we were trying to get a good name. We wanted the word holiday in there, but we really wanted also, the toast, because it's kind of a play on words. It's like, you're toasting to the holidays, but it's also, you're picking up that toasted barrel with all those flavors in there,
Yeah.
Yeah. And then like a big, strong vanilla note too.
And I love that, like the way you described the secondary barrel that you all had Kelvin do. Love Kelvin. With the big toast versus, like a heavy char. Some people with their double oak, really char. So you're gonna get a lot of more tannic notes. This one, you're getting a lot more of those vanilla, toffee type of notes. So you're leaning more sweet than you are the dark, cherry, stone fruit type of liquid.
Yeah.
And, obviously I don't know what the mash bill is in this bourbon. And so that can do a lot of things as well. I think this, for me, this one has a little bit of a barley content to me. So I think that, that maltiness is coming through like throughout the liquid, which is really nice. And that's something I've come to appreciate as we've dove into Scotch and American single malt, is that, that malted barley component when the whiskey has a higher, propensity of that, and how it can shine through and change that doughiness and breadiness, like as Scott was talking about.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What's the price point on this one?
That one, I think it's $74.99 on our website, right?
That's what right? I think I saw earlier today.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And you said it's about 5 to 6 years old?
Yeah. Yeah.
Awesome.
It's above 5, I believe. Might be a little older.
Yeah, there was
depending on what batch it is.
This one's batch 5.
So that's probably a little bit older then. It's probably close to 6 years.
So just a little bit of correction, $79.99 on this and the Frenchman. Both are out of stock currently. So
yeah.
Not for long.
We have more coming. We have some restock coming this month. It does sell remarkably fast on our website. We don't really promote it.
Guys, that was our goal. We wanted, how you go on a lot of brands and it's like out of stock. Our goal was to keep them in stock, but it's been, thank you to all of our fans and customers, but all of a sudden then it's gone relatively soon. It's like, dang it, let's get another truck on the way. But that's important to us because we know the states we're not in yet. We want everyone to have a shot at everything we do. And we've released a lot of our 14-year-old single barrel as well on our website. So every state has a shot at it. That's important to us.
So do you guys do like drops and stuff?
We did our first drop.
Okay.
We did. And we were in the car. I think we were right at the bridge, right, Mike, in Louisville?
Yeah. So everyone was emailing us, please let us know. I missed this last one.
I was driving.
I missed the last drop. And so I was like, okay. And I really did. I kept everyone's email addresses and I called our fulfillment center. I said, please give me a 5-minute notice before you go live so I can let these people know. And so they did.
Hold on. 70% sure that this was not going to drop perfectly.
Yeah. It was the
first
time.
In my mind. There will be problems.
And they were like, we will go live at noon or something like that. I think it was noon. But,
noon Pacific. It was noon Pacific. Yeah.
Yeah. And so I sent out the email and like clockwork, it went live at noon and I was showing John the live.
As I'm driving over the bridge.
I was like, oh man, it's really working. So yeah, we did a drop and it worked and everyone was thanking us and happy they got their bottles and everything like that. So we'll keep doing that, and we might put some on stories or something if give everyone a heads up. But it's a struggle for us. We're trying to keep that restock going. It's just really, we underestimated, clearly that there's some traffic that goes to our site, and people are always looking for those products.
Yeah. So speaking of drops, like and like doing it that way, a lot of people are sneakerheads or whatever. iPhones, yada yada. Not so much anymore, but they used to be, right? Well, I'd wait up till 3-4 in the morning so I could order my new iPhone. I've ordered, a pair of shoes or entered a raffle.
Yep.
Like, do you see that as bourbon continues to expand and explode, like that being kind of a way to engage your mailing list and engage your people to build that like anticipation?
Jake, we talk about it all the time. We talk about drops. We talk about collaborations. There's plenty of brands, and we're working on some collaborations right now, which we could talk about, relatively soon, but it's all not ready to talk about yet, but 100% we see that. And
yeah,
one thing we really like, and I think I'm speaking for Mike too, is the bourbon community, even brand owners. We have a great time together. We probably each think we have our own secrets, but at the same time, we share, a lot of information together as an industry, because it's great people, for one. I mean, people like you guys and your podcast, we consider you guys part of the fabric. It's great for our business, but yet it's just, like I said, me and Mike, this is who we are, this is what we want to do too. So we just really enjoyed every aspect of the business.
Well, just to answer your question though, like John and I were both consumers first, and we're still consumers. I mean, we chase bottles down all the time. We know how frustrating it is missing out on a bottle or trying to track down a bottle that you really want. So when we started this, that was a thing that we always said we would do, is you have a website where people can get, our products on. The drop part is really kind of organic. That's something that, our social media team and the followers and fans of Lucky 7 are kind of asked us for. And so, we're listening and doing what they asked us to. So that whole drop thing is an organic kind of, let's just give everyone a heads up and see, just as a courtesy, and, everyone can get their bottles that way. Cause right now our site, our fulfillment center goes to 48 states. So, we're only in like 15 right now. So, it gives us a bigger footprint, allows people in other states that we're not distributed in right now to get it. And so, we're really happy so far. The only thing we need to figure out is just getting more product restocked and keeping it consistent, because it runs out, within, days, and it's just crazy. So we're really
good problem to have, but it's still a problem.
It's a great problem. Yeah, exactly.
And we're going to produce a lot more bourbon in 23 and beyond.
Yeah.
But we're really, with our team, me, Mike, and Ashley and Monica, we really projected 23 out. I think we'll nail it to a T, but we're excited to getting into more states for what I would call proper distribution. But then also, we always want to keep our website as full as we can.
Yeah, we think it's cool. We like it. We're going to keep that going, and we're going to kind of streamline it so it's always stocked.
No, I think that's awesome. And I think it's great that, some of the liquor laws have kind of expanded to allow for shipping of bourbon, right? Like that used to be the biggest thing when we started this 3 years ago. Like to get a sample to Kentucky, if you weren't a Kentucky Spirit, was nuts. Like,
yeah, I believe it.
And now, like the ability for brands to engage Kentuckians, that, this is the fabric of who the state is, right? It's bourbon, and people say bourbon and horses. It's bourbon and then a distant second horses, and then a distant third basketball.
Right. So I tell people who haven't been to the Bourbon Trail or don't go to Louisville and Lexington and all over Kentucky, I say it's kind of the new golf trip. When not that they don't also golf, But when you're in that airport and you see not just a group of guys, but a group of women and men coming off the plane, it's like they're Disneyland, you know? They're like, how fast can we get out of here? Oh, look there's that sign, there's that sign, you know? And it's pretty exciting. I mean, that's how me and Mike were when we first walked into the airport.
Well, yeah. And like, in the airport, you can find some of the best bottles in Kentucky. Yeah. Like my buddy picked up an M20 there. Angel's Envy Cask Strength was sitting on the shelf. Like they had, there's liquid there. Like that, there's just a really great opportunity to experience Kentucky the moment you get off the plane and the moment you come out of the airport.
Hey, look for our sign B2. There
we go. I like it.
Lucky
yeah.
We did a welcome to Louisville sign.
That's that's going to American and Southwest. So all you American and Southwest flight goers.
Yes, exactly.
But even if you come from A and you're in that center there and you go to the bathroom,
the Starbucks,
it's right there.
Yeah, right. Exactly.
Right there.
Yeah.
Yeah. If you just make a small U-turn into B terminal or terminal
right
2.
It's
a B terminal.
Yeah, it's B terminal. It's a small airport. You got A and B, and you got 32 gates total. So big flight guy out of Louisville, and I just flew home on Southwest from Disney, and whoo boy.
Wow.
Yeah. So anywho, what's really good is this Frenchman. The holiday toast was super solid, but the Frenchman is right up my palate's alley. So I'll jump in on this one. But the French oak finish is just really well done. The brown sugar, cinnamon, toffee, chocolate thing kind of happening here is just, I think this is holiday in a glass for me. Like I think of those like brown sugar nuts and things that you can get in the big sleeve at the roasted nut vendors. Like that's what this is to me.
Oh yeah.
And this is so good.
That's a good description. I agree with you. Same process as the holiday toast in terms of how we produced it, only that we used, and both, by the way, are virgin barrels. We don't use used barrels. These are all brand new. But we actually custom ordered French oak barrels for this. And, we knew there was a lot of French oak finished products out there. So we really wanted to knock this one out of the park. We weren't going to just settle for anything. And again, Ashley, with her palate and our palates, we all aligned, and she really crushed this one for us. And we were, again, so thrilled with the result of the Frenchman.
I love French oak. Scott knows that like to a T. I love the tannic. Like it's just extra tannic, and the oak influence and the sweetness you get with it. It's just, for me, it's my palate.
Yeah.
To a T.
We had to have this special because there were, like I said, there's a lot of French oak finish, and we knew that. But we were having a lot of fun with the barrel finish, and we just wanted a French oak finish, and we wanted it to be outstanding. So thank you for verifying that. Appreciate it. Yeah.
There's always that. I have it. I think I have it a little more than Mike. Maybe not, but there's that. We sample the finished product, blah blah blah, and then. By the way, we store our barrels and we bottle out of Bardstown Bourbon Company.
Yes.
So then once it's actually in the bottle, I got a little bit of anxiety. Like, is this exactly what we think it's going to be? And 100% of the time it has been, but I still am like, it's in the back of my mind.
Oh yeah.
So we had the first bottle, and I think we were at Jack Fry's, and then we popped open the trunk. Should we do this right now? And then we had our little celebration at Jack Fry's
in the parking lot. Yeah.
It is that good. It's awesome.
We ripped the top off. We're like, okay, let's try it. Let's just try it, And we both tried it. We were like, oh God, it's so good. We're so happy. We're doing a little dance in the parking lot there in Jack Fry's. But
we're doing all the local eateries. I mean, if Repeal and Jack Fry's, I mean, we need to just do it big.
We love it. Amazing places in Louisville.
Need to come eat with you all when you're in town.
Yeah.
Hey, we'll let you know. We'll get together.
Sign me up, because I'm a huge foodie and I love all the places you're talking about.
Oh yeah, we love the restaurants in Louisville. We try to. I mean, we're usually there for 4 or 5 days, so we get around, and we love all our spots. They're awesome out there.
And one more thing about the Frenchman, as long as we're talking about it, me and Mike wanted to check out Tales of the Cocktail in New Orleans, just to see if we know it's bartender kind of centric convention, but would there be any good opportunities for Lucky 7 to be there in future years? So they had their inaugural tasting event. So we did enter the Frenchman, which was our latest SKU, and also the French influence in New Orleans made sense to us. And we won a gold medal. And we found out there was only 2 double golds for, I don't know, nothing in the whiskey category. But then the next morning, we were there for a day, and the next morning we got an email that it won best of category too. So it was right off the bat, it was recognized. And Whiskey Advocate, 92 points on this current issue. On this current issue right now.
Yeah, so we're really
thrilled.
We're thrilled with it. We love it. It's a great addition. I pick up. It's funny because I smoke tobacco pipe once in a while. I love tobacco pipe. And the first note I got when I ripped the top off was I picked up pipe tobacco, and I was like, are you getting this, John? And he's like, yeah. So I was already just off the nose. I was like, this is going to be good. And I tried it. I was like, oh my God, this is amazing. So we were just thrilled with how it came out.
Yeah. The tobacco note is kind of where I was heading, because I always think of like French oak kind of being like a more fragrant, like wood. And that's kind of what I get, like cigar box.
Yep.
Cigar leaf, tobacco, and then like a lot of nuttiness.
Yeah.
And a lot has to do with, whatever your base liquid is, right? Because what y'all are doing is unique because you're probably not sourcing all from the same place. You probably have a variety of different mash bills.
True.
That's exactly right.
Putting together a solid category on the allotment of barrels that you have, right, is the most important thing versus saying, hey, we're going to try to make everything fit into this pigeonhole, right? Like not every barrel can be a Frenchman and not every barrel could be a holiday toast, right? Because you're looking for replication of that sort of set the tone, that the nature of our business, which you just described as, sourcing whatever comes available that we think is good at the time. Could be a different age statement. It could be a different mash bill. It could be multiple different distilleries. We are all not forced. It's not the right word, but we have to try every barrel before we know what to do with it. So the care that goes into all of our products is I think it's enormous. I mean, we sample every single barrel when we get them, and then we all collectively decide what to do with them. And then Ashley has to blend them with similar tasting characteristics. So, there's no competing flavors. You're not blending a vanilla note barrel with a cinnamon note barrel. You're blending all the caramel and vanilla and all of those flavors together and getting the most potential out of those barrels. And then we're putting them in the secondary barrel, and then we're dumping it, and then we're blending it, and then we're bottling it. So there's a lot going on. But it's just because what you just described, it's because we never know what we're going to get. And we got to also collectively figure out what to do with it once we get it. And
that's
what makes it fun, though.
Yeah, that's well said, Jake, because a lot of people don't hone in on what you just said, because there's also amazing distilleries where barrels may come available, but we as a group know it won't necessarily hit our profile the way that Ashley does her thing, along with our, mine and Mike's input. So they're great, but maybe those barrels aren't for us,
No, for sure. Yeah. And I think, that's where, we leave this episode, because I know we got somebody's got to be somewhere here with this one. But that just means we need round 2, and then there's other SKUs to chat about. But I think we leave it with this little bit of a cliffhanger, because I think that's the most important thing that people don't understand about what you all are trying to do as you all build your business. And I'm sure you're laying down barrels at some capacity at some place to get some stuff going for yourself. But at the core of it, you're still going to source, right? That's still going to be a lot of what you're doing to get aged stock to continue to put out, these age stated whiskeys. And so I think what y'all are doing is admirable because it's difficult to do. And people just think that NPDs, non-producing distillers, it's super easy. It's really difficult to like acquire enough barrels to get the same flavor profiles, to have the right team to meet those needs.
And just to add to what you're saying, John and I also are very strict Kentucky bourbon. We don't waver. So it's even more difficult to find good Kentucky bourbon. We're not going out into, Tennessee or Indiana or anything else for the juice. So and it will always be a Kentucky bourbon brand. So we bottle in Kentucky and we use all.
Are you sure you're going to make that statement, Mike?
Yeah. Well, why? Because you think we're going to find something somewhere else?
No, I'm thinking
rye. You're thinking rye or
that's
something.
where,
because maybe rye, but rye's not.
Rye's not Kentucky bourbon. You can do, there's
a couple good 6-year-old 95.5 ryes coming out of Bardstown.
we have our eye out. It's been a goal of ours.
We had a rye that's not from Kentucky. That is oof.
It's good. It's very good.
But Kentucky bourbon. How about that Kentucky bourbon? Yeah.
Kentucky bourbon, exactly. Yeah. That's one.
You can do whatever you want with the rye.
Right.
and also we've got now this amazing bourbon community though. We do have we're going to do everything. We'll contract distill at some point, probably rather than our own distillery, but you never know. I mean, each year we kind of reassess where we're at and decide what we're going to do, but we're enjoying how we're producing now.
You sound a lot like Blue Run a little bit right here. They said on the podcast about 2 years ago, Mike was like, we're never going to build a distillery. They're building a distillery.
That's pretty funny.
So, I know. It's funny. It's how it's year to year, but we're here for the long haul, and we love what we're doing, and what guys like you are doing too, because we are you guys. We just happen to have a brand right now, so it's a lot of fun for us.
No, well, we appreciate it. And we really appreciate your all's time tonight. And thanks for the great whiskeys. We really appreciate it. Sometimes it's overlooked that we get to try all these things along with you all. And so we're super thankful for that opportunity. For our listeners, I mean, the best thing to do is just go check out lucky7spirits.com. Everything you need to know is there. And we'd really appreciate it if you go give them a follow too. They have a great social media account and they're super engaging there. So check them out on Instagram. As always, guys, thanks for listening to this episode of The Bourbon Lens. We truly appreciate it. If you have a moment, please go to your favorite podcast listening app and give us a 5-star review. We truly appreciate it. As always, you can find out more information about us at bourbonlens.com or on our social medias, Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook. And until next time, cheers.
Cheers, guys.